Greetings and salutations, all my friends out there in internet land. I am William Honolulu Jr., and I have the privilege and honor of serving as the host of the Black USA News Morning Show. And welcome to Titillating Tuesdays. You all know how we do on Tuesdays, always titillating all the time. And we will be joined by my co-host, the chief titillating officer of the morning show, Miss Stacy Dennis. Ow, urban mystic apothecary lady right there. You can check out her website. It's scrolling at the bottom. Make sure that you stop by and check out some of the products that she has. It's awesome and it's engaging and entertaining. All right, there's a lot that happened this weekend. Woo! It's a lot that happened this weekend. There were several mass shooting events. We're still reeling from the Roe versus Wade decision. We're still reeling from Roe versus Wade, along with the decisions when it comes to the EPA out of the Supreme Court, decisions when it comes to firearm possession and usage, and the threats. Let's be clear. The threats to things that we consider very fundamental and basic rights. Like you have legislators who are saying, hey, since we looked at Roe, Clarence Thomas, he's not a legislator, but as a Supreme Court justice, he say, hey, let's look at the cases around contraception. Hey, let's look at the cases around same-sex marriage. Hey, let's look at the laws around same-sex relationships, including sodomy and oral sex. Hey, let's take a look at that. And legislators like Cornyn out of Texas, he was like, well, I mean, if we're going to go back and look at things like that, why don't we go back and look at Brown versus the Board of Education? Why don't we go back and look at Plessy versus Ferguson? Literally, this has broken the dam on a lot of damn stupid things. It's even scarier when you realize that coming into the court in the next term, they're going to be taking up a case that has to do with if states have the right to overturn the will of the voters in their state. This Supreme Court has already demonstrated that they don't give a damn about precedent. They don't give a damn about how things actually impact individuals. So we need to stay vigilant. We need to make sure that we're supporting candidates that will stand up for our rights and not just say they will. We need to hold people accountable, and we'll be covering that in a lot more detail in the months to come. Just wanted to let you all know and to recognize that, we do understand that this is a rough day. And I got to be honest, the next topic probably may not make it any easier. For some of us, this is going to be a very passionate discussion because some of us have very, very strong views about the morality of sex and sexual work and stuff like that and what should happen in relationships. But I want us to really make sure that we understand that this has a lot more to do than just sex and sexual practices, commercial sex, because we're going to be talking about, I guess I should tell you all that, not just assuming everybody read the intro. We're going to be talking about commercial sex work and the people who participate in it and what that looks like. And I have, again, my co-host, the most titillating Stacy Dennis. And also we have Dr. Ye, who's going to come and really share really researched perspective on these things. But yesterday was my birthday, so yay me. And one of the best speeches around the meaning of the 4th of July, I think, was from Frederick Douglass, and it's called "What to the Slave is the 4th of July." It's a really, really long speech, but I'm not gonna read it all. But I just want to take a minute or two to really read excerpts from it, because it talks about the hypocrisy, and it puts in very stark terms the hypocrisy, not just about how the United States in its inception treats Black people or treated slaves at the time. What it really talks about is how the rights that these white men wanted and demanded from England are the rights that they're trying to deny others. And while in 1852, this was, state of the art, this was a real challenging thing, it's unfortunate that, as you'll hear, a lot of this stuff is still relevant in 2022. So here's a few excerpts. The simple story of it is that 76 years ago, the people of this country were British subjects. The style and title of your sovereign people, in which you now glory, was not then born. You were under the British crown. Your fathers esteemed the English government as home government, and England as their fatherland. This home government, although a considerable distance from your home, did, in the exercise of its parental prerogatives, impose upon its colonial children such restraints, burdens, and limitations as, in its mature judgment, it deemed wise, right, and proper. But your fathers, who had not adopted the fashionable idea of this day of the infallibility of government and the absolute character of its act, presumed to differ from the home government in respect to the wisdom and the justice of some of those burdens and restraints. They went so far in their excitement as to pronounce the measures of the government unjust, unreasonable, and oppressive, and altogether such as ought not to be quietly submitted to. I scarcely need to say, fellow citizens, that my opinion of those measures fully accords with that of your fathers. Such a declaration of agreement on my part would not be worth much to anybody. It would certainly prove nothing as to what part I might have taken had I lived during the great controversy of 1776. To say now that America was right and England was wrong is exceedingly easy. Everybody can say it. The dastard, not less than the noble brave, can flippantly descant on the tyranny of England towards the American colonies. It is fashionable to do so. But there was a time when to pronounce against England and in favor of the cause of the colonies tried men's souls. They who did so accounted in their day plotters and mischiefs. They who did so were accounted in their day plotters of mischief, agitators and rebels, dangerous men. To side with the right against the wrong, with the weak against the strong, and with the oppressed against the oppressor. Here lies the merit, and the one which all others seem unfashionable in our day. The cause of liberty may be stabbed by the men who glory the deeds of your father. Oppression makes a wise man mad. Your fathers were wise men, and if they did not go mad, they became restive under this treatment. They felt themselves the victim of grievous wrongs, wholly incurable in their colonial capacity. Like I said, it's a long speech, but when you hear that part of it, you realize that this is exactly what's happening to us now. That there is this tyranny coming from people who aren't even here. They were talking about England being across the pond. Well, men are on the entire opposite end of the biological spectrum, and yet we still feel the need to control women's bodies. This, as my co-host will tell you, was a lot more about sexual power, about economics, than it is about morality. It is power. It is the grab for power cloaked in this idea of moral superiority that gives them justice, that makes what they do right, a calling, a passion, the Lord's work. But I'm sorry, it's my birthday. Hi, my name is William Honolulu Jr., and I'm the host of the BlackUSA.news morning show and the president of the Grinding Gang Incorporated. The Grinding Gang is an organization that helps small business owners in the nonprofit and for-profit communities figure out how to make sense of all the noise. There's a lot of information out there, and sometimes it gets a little overwhelming. We help you develop business plans. We help you figure out what to do with a lot of the information you receive, and we also help you figure out how to become more profitable. We also host a variety of workshops